Hello, this is Metallica at 95, and I have a little talk about the weapons of Battlefield 1. Jack Frags did a nice video discussing this information, but I took a look at this and read it on the website, and basically I was shocked, surprised, and amazed by what they're doing. It's rather subtle, because you have to actually read between the lines and grasp what they're talking about. This is the big one. They feel fast because they are. One of the things is they're adding drag and gravity to the bullets themselves. Now, Battlefield 4 and all previous versions of the Frostbite engine implemented bullets as actual objects, which have bullet velocity and a bullet drop as they drop over distance. However, the method it uses to simulate this is not quite the same as actual real-world ballistics. The bullets travel at a constant velocity, and they drop at a constant rate. In the real world, the actual effect is the bullet starts off at a very high velocity when it leaves the gun, and is slowed down by the air, and the gravity pulls it down at a steady effect, because gravity is always the same on a planet. Same amount of gravity anywhere on Earth. But as velocity drops as the bullet travels, it makes effectively the bullet drops faster because it's traveling slower. So this is what's happening. Now let's take a look at a typical Battlefield 4 weapon. The M16, very popular weapon. Synthic stat, 650 meters per second bullet velocity. M98B, same 650 meters per second bullet velocity. Now, the real world muzzle velocity, the velocity when the bullet leaves those guns, is about 950 meters per second. Why the difference? Because Battlefield 4 uses a rough average of the velocity over the travel of the bullet for the entire range of the gun. Now the M98B falls at the real world gravity of 9.81 meters per second squared. The M16 uses a 15 meters per second squared velocity, which basically approximates the higher air resistance, the air drag, on the less powerful M16 bullets. Well, Battlefield 1 is not going to do that. It's going to use the actual velocity, so the bullets will be leaving the gun at their full speed. At short ranges, that means they're going to hit a lot faster. At long ranges, it means the bullet is going to drop faster as the distance goes out farther. Bullet travels, goes fast, slowly drops, loses velocity as it travels. And this is a much more realistic model of the way bullets really work. For anyone who's actually shot real guns, this will feel much more realistic. And one of the things about video games, and we'll talk about wanting to have realism in the game, is everything that makes it feel like you're in the real world makes you feel the game is more real. You're not drawn out of your immersion in the game by having things happen which don't happen the way they do in the real world. And part of this is that they're implementing more of the physics engine of Frostbite in Battlefield 1. Now I've looked at the video in the trailer. Watch how things move. Let's go ahead and take a peek at just this little bit of action here. Now animations can basically be the animator moving the characters around based on their own impression, knowledge of how things should move, or it can actually use a real-world physics model to make the actions happen. Now, we can't tell for sure of all the actions, but I see signs here that Battlefield 1 is making more use of real-world physics, which makes a more realistic, immersive war game, more realistic experience, and obviously I am, how can I say, overwhelmed by this thought that we're going to have something that's never been done in this level of game, a realistic physical model of the weapons. Now there's more to what they're doing with this. The weapons, you can read through this on the website yourself, a variety of weapons. They will be basically, one of the things to look at is that they're going to be different in the way they work. Basically not to have cookie cutter weapons where you have multiple weapons that fill the same role. Each one is going to be an individual. And using the actual real world physics will make it much easier to do that. The fact that they're going with preset loadouts for each weapon In Battlefield 4, there were commonly good combinations of attachments to use. Some things would never work well together. You don't have to worry about that in Battlefield 1. It's going to have sets that always work for what the weapon is, what you're trying to modify the weapon to do. The weapon modification will focus on that feature and be pretty easy to figure out which is the best choice. Now, melee weapons. Now here's the interesting thing. Melee weapons, bayonet charges. Well, in order, one of the things I'm looking at is, what if they're modeling the physics of the charge, the momentum of the body affecting impact, the momentum of the weapon affecting the damage. Not just an arbitrary damage number, but an actual physics model allowing circumstances to change the output. Is it quite that detailed? I don't know for sure, but the thought that they're willing to go ahead and do this gives me hope. And basically think this is going to be the most amazing upgrade of the Battlefield franchise basically since the Frostbite engine as far as gun mechanics go. Now one of the other small things is you get into little bits of innovations. Sniper rifles. Most effective when you stay at the right distance to your target. Now, in the real world, one of the things is that guns are actually zeroed always at some distance away from, the shooter. You don't, in Battlefield 4 currently, the default zero is at right in front of the gun. Your scope is focused to hit a target right in front of you. Well, in reality, you do not need to scope focus when you're shooting at something right in front of the gun. It's going to hit because there's no distance between you and the target. No, the guns tend to be having zeroed at like 10 meters, 30 meters for target guns, 200 meters for sniper rifles. And you would think that the optimum firing pattern is going to affect basically the best range that focused zero range will be the one where it'll be easiest to get a good hit and kill with the weapon. How they're going to handle that with a bullet damage model, it's possible that they will reflect the high energy hit not being as lethal at short range. More than likely, though, I think it would be a matter of the ability to hit accurately with the weapon and aim when the sights are not not adjusted for the range you're shooting at. Let's see how that works. But basically, I think we have a little discussion on the primary point. That is, the change in the physics engine and the fact that they're implementing actual physics for the bullets. What do you think about this? I think I'm amazed that they're doing this. Is this what you read into it when you read these descriptions? They did not say more realistic bullet model, more realistic gun ballistics, but I can't take that any other way. They're describing a major improvement in the realism of the physics of the Battlefield engine, and I applaud them for it. This is a game that not only looks amazing, but I think it's going to feel more realistic, more intense, more immersive than any Battlefield game ever. And that really has me excited, and I can't wait until it comes out. And as always, have a good time on the Battlefield. If you like this video, make a comment. Check out below. I'll add links at some point. And anyway, have a good day. Thank you.